Tonight, hard questions for county leaders about a juvenile justice system failing victims and failing kids. This time because they still can't find placements for children with mental illness who commit crimes. Now a judge is putting Hennepin on notice for illegally holding a 12-year-old in jail because there's nowhere else for him to go. Lauren Lemanchek digs into why this problem hasn't been solved.
Crash after crash caused by kids in stolen cars.
That is my biggest fear.
Mangled wrecks, injuries.
You can die in those cars.
Youth in and out of the doors of the detention center.
Despite pleas from their parents begging for help, begging for them to be detained, they were let back out into the street.
One of those parents, Kendra, begging for help for her 12-year-old son.
I feel like these kids need help, not just my child. All of these kids need help.
We're not using her last name to protect the identity of a 12-year-old child. But records show her son started engaging in criminal behavior when he was just 11. Each time he was found incompetent to stand trial because of his age and mental health. By law, kids found incompetent must be released from the juvenile detention center. But that creates a big problem and an agonizing choice for Kendra, who knows without mental health services, she cannot keep him safe at home.
It breaks my heart.
Hennepin County says he needs placement at a secure facility that can meet his mental health needs. Yet they can't find a single one in the entire state that will take him, which means for the last month, a mentally ill 6th grader has been held illegally against judges' orders in the juvenile jail. He is not alone, and the problem is not new. 2 years ago, KARE 11 began exposing how the broken system failed victims and kids. The problem? Minnesota, and Hennepin County specifically, lack treatment centers for youth with low IQ and a history of aggression. So the choice becomes either set them loose to potentially commit more crimes or hold them in jail illegally. Why are there not more placements for these kids?
That is a great question.
Lawyers like Tracy Reed and Laura Baldwin are now asking the court to find Hennepin County in contempt because they haven't found placement and are holding kids in jail.
They've been on notice for a very long time, and we're at the point where inaction is a form of action to not fix this problem.
Judge Todd Fellman stopped short of contempt, but he did call out the county for insufficient urgency and effort, telling them to seriously contemplate creating its own facility for children with complex needs. Hennepin closed its only secure facility, the county homeschool, back in 2021, without a plan to replace it.
You could call it a place of last resort. It doesn't exist anymore.
And while Ramsey County asked the legislature for funds to create small, intensive treatment homes, and Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty wrote a letter asking for the same thing, Hennepin County leaders have declined funding. The bottom line is the county has no plans to build something for these kids.
Not at this time.
Commissioner Jeff Lundy is part of a state task force that released this report on the problem in February. He says until the state fixes massive roadblocks with cumbersome licensing, low reimbursement for providers, and a lack of staff, just building a facility won't work.
The question is, will there be something there when we get to that point where we have a nice new building? Will it be staff licensed, accredited? Will we get the reimbursements? As of right now, the way the system is working, there won't be.
But some families can't wait.
I was already trying to get him help then.
Then he was 9. Now Latoya's son is 16 and in the JDC. And while the actual doors to the facility aren't revolving, she says they might as well be. He's been in and out so many times.
I want my son home, but I want him home safely.
Her son has a cognitive disability and a host of mental health diagnoses, which means despite assault charges, he can't stand trial or get the care he needs. Every psychiatric residential treatment facility has denied him because of his low IQ.
They're going to lock him up because they're going to see violent behaviors when really they could have took care of the violent behaviors if they would have just addressed his mental health.
Leaving moms like these wondering why it's taking so long. So I was doing these interviews with people about this topic 2 years ago, In 2 years, will I be asking these same questions?
I hope not. This is one of our top priorities for public safety.
Meanwhile, a frustrated community wants answers to juvenile crime now. And desperate parents beg for help, skeptical it's coming.
They act like they care, but they don't.
If they cared, what would be happening?
My son would be in a placement getting the help that he needs.
We asked Hennepin County how many kids are in this situation. They couldn't tell us because they say they don't keep track. Now, eventually, a secure treatment center did agree to take Kendra's son, but it is 1,000 miles away in Virginia and not available until later this month. For KARE 11 Investigates, I'm Lauren Lemanchek.